Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my official Star Wars Rise of Skywalker review. First and foremost, I'm going to say I'm going to try to do the least amount of spoilers that I can. If I do put up spoilers, I'll tell you a time frame around or warn you before I want to do spoilers. But first and foremost, did I like the movie? Yes, I did. I really, really enjoyed this movie, mainly because of how much I despised The Last Jedi. I feel that movie was not a Star Wars movie. The director, even though it did make a great cinematic movie, I did not feel that this was a Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. So, and that's where a lot of critics are starting to say they've never seen a movie take back so much from its previous movie. But ultimately, I like to think, wasn't that our, as a Star Wars fan base, wasn't that our goal for The Last Jedi? Is we wanted to see the Rise of Skywalker fix The Last Jedi. And I think this movie does very well. Is it a perfect Star Wars movie? I will say no. It is not a perfect Star Wars movie. There's a lot of... It's a fast-paced movie, and there's a lot going on, and it at some points does seem messy. I remember watching the first 45 minutes of the movie. I was really enjoying everything that JJ was bringing to the table, but I was really thinking in the back of my head, can y'all please slow down? It's going way too fast. All right. But ultimately, I did like the movie, and I did tear up a couple times. Did tear up a couple times in it, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I've listened to I listened to a couple reviews before going to the movie, and did go in with a kind of low expectations, and that was just simply based off of The Last Jedi and what people were saying about the movie, saying that they weren't enjoying it at first they have hope. I am struggling to fail. There's a lot of also angry reviews out there, and I'm struggling to fail why they didn't like it. At this point, I'm saying if you really didn't like this movie, then you really don't understand Star Wars. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the way I feel, and I think it's a very solid movie. I'm trying to do my best to not spoil this movie, but maybe we will get into spoilers in another movie. But overall, I did enjoy it. On two sides, as a film critic, that I liked my amateur film critic in me saying it is not a perfect movie. It's not great, but overall, it is a good movie. As a Star Wars fan, I would say it is a very good Star Wars movie. I think J.J. Abrams did yet another good job with the series. And I think he should be less nervous to make these movies. I think he's done a fantastic job, and continuing the work that George Lucas set up in this universe. So without a further ado, I do recommend the movie, and I'm going to do now my power rankings with all the Star Wars Skywalker saga. My power ranking. It might change over time. I did see the movie last night, so it's still kind of weighing on me, and I'm definitely gonna go see it again. So this is my new power ranking I have for Star Wars, and I guess we'll start from my least favorite, if you have not caught on to my most favorite Star Wars movies. We'll start from number 9, The Last Jedi. As you've already heard about me complaining, I did not like this movie. I do not think it was a Star Wars movie. And just simply because Rian Johnson, I did like the fact that he was trying to do a whole bunch of new things into the series, but I believe it was just done way too fast, way too quick. It's too much. and then also he was going against some of the fundamentals that George Lucas had set up into the universe, and just tossing those out the window. And then introducing new characters and then killing them off in the same movie, I felt was very lazy. Overall, it was not great, but The Rise of Skywalker did fix it, and kind of helps. Kind of funny. It helps me recover from the Last Jedi. Moving on to number 8, we got Attack of the Clones. Sorry, Hayden Christensen. I think you did the best that you could with that script. They do make Anakin kind of a whiny little child in that movie. I hate sand. There's too much CGI. It's just overall does not look good as a film. I have to say, from number 8 on up, it was actually really hard for me to do a power ranking for the rest. Number 7, I have Revenge of the Sith, and this is simply because I did rewatch some of the original, or the first 1, 2, and 3 before going to see The Last Jedi, and I rewatched The Phantom Menace, and I have to say, now that I'm older and no longer a child camping out in my backyard with a portable VCR and television watching The Phantom Menace on VHS, it's a good movie. I couldn't tell if it was some of the rework that George Lucas had done on it, but like the pod racing looked great. The story is actually pretty dang good. Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. Rewatching it, you see how much of a complex character that character is, and overall, I really liked it. So that's why I have The Phantom Menace as number 6 and Revenge of the Sith. Normally I would have those switched up, but Revenge of the Sith I have low. I do think that the script is overall fantastic. I think it's one of the best written Star Wars movies, besides, my top 3. Revenge of the Sith, and it's overall the conversion to 4, 5, and 6. But Hayden Christensen's acting and all the CGI did lower it down for me. So that's why I have it at number 7. I feel like I just covered The Phantom Menace because I found a new love for it. So we're going to skip on to number 5, The Force Awakens. It's no secret to JJ and the community that it is a remake of A New Hope. Almost everything you can find mirrors A New Hope. And I don't really blame JJ for it. A lot of people were telling it this is lazy, Disney's ruining it, but you have to dig down deeper onto why was it played so safe. So if you actually watch a couple of interviews, J.J. Abrams turned down directing The Force Awakens, I think 5 times before taking on the gig. He was, terrified, and he's quoted that he was terrified to be the director that ruined Star Wars because he was a fan of Star Wars himself, and he didn't want to be the person to overall ruin the franchise. So with that being said, I do not believe that is a bad movie. I think it's a good Star Wars movie. He will admit it. He played it safe, and I think he just did a great job on it and introducing. And I also think it was necessary to introduce the new characters of Rey, Finn, and Poe. So Force Awakens is a thumbs up for me. JJ, I'm a huge fan of yours, and good job, man. Moving on to number 4, Return of the Jedi. You know what? I really don't know why I have this so far up, and maybe just because it's a nostalgic feeling of when I was a kid sitting, in my old living room, watching The Return of the Jedi on VHS and seeing the Ewoks, and which a lot of people were mad about the Ewoks. I wasn't very mad about it, but I enjoyed it. So The Return of the Jedi is good. You see Luke kind of mature from The Empire Strikes Back into the Jedi Master that he is. Now that I think about it, this is more of a Star Wars ranking than it is my Rise of Skywalker review. We're gonna have to do a whole nother video on me kind of talking about spoilers and talking about the movie itself. Which brings us to number 3. I just think it's a fun movie. Don't dig too deep into it. It's fast paced. I liked all the new stuff. I like the throwbacks to the old stuff. And another thumbs up for me, JJ. Like I said, huge fan. Number 2, we got A New Hope, and that's simply because it just started the whole franchise. It's the movie that rocked the world. Getting to speak with people that were actually there to be in the theater seats when those movies came out. They just couldn't believe what they were seeing on the screen. I remember when I was working back at Cinemark, I had this guy come buy tickets for the Solo movie, and he wore a T-shirt saying my seats were front row. The release of The New Hope, like, where were you? And so I just kind of talked to him about it, and he told me that there were just the massive lines for the people to go see this movie. There's people that were seeing the movie, getting out of the theater, and going back in line to buy tickets to see it again. They just, they couldn't believe what they were seeing on the screen, and I think that's why I have it so far up there, is because since it's so good and it started this, how long has it been going now? Almost, they just had their 50th anniversary, right? So 50 years of Star Wars. That's why I put it so far up there. And then number 1, of course, if you really want to call yourself a Star Wars fan, this will ultimately always be your number 1 until maybe they make a better one. I don't think so, but Emperor Strikes Back. Luke, I am your father. Most epic reveal in cinematic history. Overall fantastic battle, conflict between Luke and the dark side, and discovering that his father is the most hated man in the universe, Darth Vader. It's just a great movie, and maybe I have to do videos on just every single one and just truly break them down as to why I have them ranked like I do, but. Yes. And there you have it. That's this is my spoiler-free Rise of Skywalker review and power ranking of the new Star Wars films, all 9 completed. Like I said, it's not final. I'm still day 1 after watching the movie, so it probably will change as I probably when I go watch it again and compare it to the other movies. But overall, this is what I feel. Hopefully y'all enjoyed, and I can do more videos like this. So, peace.